Hello, good to have you back. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
We've had some conversations in the last few weeks about relative strength in areas like software and cyber and cloud. But given all the uncertainties and with the Fed on the horizon this week, are you actually shopping right now?
Well, look, I think if one has a long-term perspective, which is really important, I think back to comments from the Berkshire Hathaway conference this past weekend. I mean, we need to get out of this short-term mentality, this casino mentality. And if that's the case, then there are some important trends to take note of and be able to apply that to a strategy. And, I think one of the ones that stands out within this environment right now is Microsoft. If I think about the nature and the composition of the business model for Microsoft, it's extremely resilient to what we see right now in this inflationary environment. The growth of the cloud computing business, the ability for Microsoft to continue to show leadership there, focused on the digital transformation that's not slowing down. If we look at the surveys of the IT professionals in the large companies, they're not going to slow down in terms of what they're going to deploy for dollars to provide more infrastructure, continue the trend of the remote workforce now that the genie is out of the bottle post-COVID. So those are all things that we like, and we think that those are long-term trends that are not going to go away. And if we focus on some of these companies, especially a company like Microsoft that does have a really strong balance sheet and good cash flows, that's definitely going to be one that's going to be a little more resilient within this environment.
That's interesting because on a strict valuation basis, it's less expensive than some, but more expensive than others. I mean, among the big names that we talk about a lot.
That's right. That's right. And, look, I think right now, again, if we focus on long term, these are the types of opportunities that we need to take a look at. And, look, don't have a short term focus. I'm not here to talk about things on the short term, but if one is interested in how we're going to see some of these trends play out, particularly digital transformation within the enterprise, but even touching the consumers, these trends are here long term, and we need to look at the strongest companies that have the ability to generate cash flow while at the same time being extremely efficient in how they do their growth as well.
Lo, what about Fintech? I mentioned at the beginning of the show that PayPal has done a more than pandemic round trip in terms of its stock price. And we had Scott Minerd of Guggenheim on this morning talking to Brian Sullivan on Worldwide Exchange, saying that some of these names in the Fintech space straight up are trading like value companies. Is there opportunity here? The landscape has changed, however. There's a lot more competition.
There's a lot more competition, and the competition is coming from a lot of the upstarts, companies that have recently gone public. We've seen some resilience in the private markets with Fintech in particular with regard to valuations. But I do think, again, not only do we see a lot of these more resilient names that are showing the ability to generate cash flows, they've held up fairly well. In fact, when we look at the multiples, to your point, they almost look a little bit and trade more like a value stock. But again, Deidre, I think, it's important, and John always talks about, the FANG, and we talk about unbundling that. And what we're really speaking to is going deeper on the actual business models. And I think we have to apply that to Fintech as well. Not all Fintechs are created equal. Some of them have their business models more geared towards consumers. In this environment of increasing inflation and interest rates, we might see some of those companies struggle. But for some of the Fintechs that have more of an enterprise focus, that are doing things like providing the back office support for processing payments and things of that nature, those companies probably will look a little bit different in their performance.